I was about to do that thing where I felt like I was going to be talking over the music that's playing. Seemed like I always do that. I don't know why I continue to do it every single time. Doesn't make any sense half the time when it goes on. But we're here on another Wednesday. Or actually, the first Wednesday I've been live for, I think, ever since the ending of season 3, I believe. It's been a while since I've been back on Wednesday competing against AEW. You know, I've spent most of this season competing against SmackDown and Rampage, mostly SmackDown, and, you know, it's a losing battle. You know, multi-million-dollar company, you know, multi-negative $1 million company over here. And, yeah, so I decided to go back into the minor leagues and battle against the AEW, because apparently they're not in the minors anymore. You know, they got a good roster going on, got a good thing going, so they're not minors anymore. They're in the majors. They are competing their ass off. So, welcome, because I'm not waiting for people to come this time. This time, I'm just going to go straight into it. So, welcome to episode 39. I'm your host, DJ81, and we got a couple of things to talk about tonight. And very interesting things, I believe. And these were a couple of events that, when I sat back and watched it, felt like it was going to happen within this time. Wasn't something that was going to be rushed. It seemed kind of planned, like strategic in nature that these events happen, but they happen nonetheless. So, but first and foremost, I want to give everybody a shout out. Happy Thanksgiving. I know it's tomorrow. Everybody's preparing now, you know, cooking their turkeys. Preparing their turkeys. I think some people have been preparing their turkeys. Hopefully they get stuffed correctly. Some people are already eating, like Bill's. Heard he's already eating. Fat boy. Nah. When the food's ready, you know, there's no like you have to wait until Thanksgiving to eat. It's not like Christmas, and even then people open their presents early. Especially when I was a kid, Christmas time used to be always looking for the presents. You know, they'd be hidden somewhere in the house. I happen to find a couple. So if I'm able to find them before Christmas, then it kind of turns into an Easter egg situation. Like, Happy Easter. No, Merry Christmas and Happy Easter. You found the egg, now open it. And it wound up being something. Hey, what's up, VF? Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you too. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's been a minute that I've been back on Wednesdays. So, but before we get into these topics, I want to let everybody know that where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at DJ81. You can find me on my blog website at dj81.org. And if you want to, you don't have to. It's getting around the holidays, so everybody's going to be strapped for cash. I'm strapped for cash. I think everybody's going to be strapped for cash, especially when they start taking advantage of these Black Friday sales. But if you want to, I have PayPal, I have Zelle. That's the other one. PayPal and Zelle. It's by my email address, which is E as in Echo, V as in Victor, O as in Oscar, 325 at gmail.com. So if you feel charitable, you know, please donate. If not, just the fact that you're taking the time out of your busy schedule, to view, whether it's live or archived. I appreciate it. And this episode will be going up on Spotify later, so stay tuned. But we're going to do a new segment to start the show. Clown ass behavior moment in the last week. Shout out to the dude on the Detroit Pistons. What's his name? Jonathan Stewart. I don't know what his first name is, but him and LeBron got into it, and it was a wild situation. I think it was one of those moments where, you know, they're at the free throw line. Let me set the stage real quick. Okay. It looks like the Pistons are at the free throw line. Shot goes up. LeBron, I think AD or somebody else are boxing out Stewart. And Stewart initially has his elbow up against LeBron's ribs, in which LeBron trying to fight off the elbows this man in the mouth and apparently in the eye, and probably clawed him in the eye as well. You know, NBA players be having long nails, so it left Stewart bloody. Now initially you didn't see that, but then LeBron immediately already knew Isaiah Stewart. Thank you, VF. It's Isaiah Stewart. But I wouldn't even remember his first name anyway. Crazy as that dude was. But anyway. So LeBron realizes this right away. He has his hands out. And he's trying to check on Isaiah. Tell me why. And, you know, at first I was just like laughing over the whole situation. You know, laughing at LeBron. You know, kind of pointed out that it may have been intentional, but excuse me, it clearly, according to the footage, clearly was not intentional. And this dude Isaiah goes ballistic. You want to talk about Days of Our Lives type drama? Like this man was doing way too much once people got there to get in between them two. I'm like, I wanted to hold off on condemning this man for his clownish behavior, but come on, really? Don't do that. Isaiah Stewart, don't do that. You can't be just running around here trying to win an Oscar. I'm like, you could have been on like Saving Private Ryan when they was getting bombed. You could have been out there running around. I'm like, this dude ran. I'm like, he did more running than I have in the last week, according to what he did. You know who else was doing too damn much? Russell Westbrook. What did RCS World say? Or I don't know if it's RCS World or, but shout out to them because they were real quick on the video after this all happened. But it basically said, they basically put out the video and the phrase, you can't hit a shot, but you can hit a nigga, can't you? Yeah, that's Russell Westbrook. He acting like he was squaring up. And you want to talk about clownish behavior from Isaiah Stewart? Westbrook acted like he was going to fight people and they were holding him back too. He waited to square up after he was being held by the white guy. But anyway, Isaiah Stewart's running around screaming bloody murder, which, yeah, he was bloody. I don't know what else he was saying. I know he was telling people move. But, this man ran and looked like he, after he finished running around doing calisthenics and whatnot and breaking tackles like he was, like he was Derrick Henry, they finally get him to the hallway, and then this man takes off and acts like he's gonna circle the whole stadium. You realize how big a stadium is to run around it and catch somebody on the other side? Carmelo said it best, because the refs were warning the Lakers bench, hey, dude may come up on the other side and snuff one of y'all. Carmelo's like, Carmelo, speak of the devil. talking about snuffing somebody. We know Carmelo. We remember what you did at Madison Square Garden, bitch. But he was like, that dude ain't running around. He ain't coming out on the other side. He'd probably go in the locker room and cry. Yeah, hopped in the shower, lay in the corner. Over dramatic ass. But, you know, after it was all said and done, suspensions were levied out. And guess who got more games? Isaiah Stewart, for being a clown. And rightfully so, LeBron should have got suspended in this situation. Only thing was, I was thinking he was going to get 3 games. Because if you think about player safety, you have to set an example. And the example is, he left him bloody. Now, if this were hockey, and I've done this before with other NBA instances like Jokic and Morris, that situation. If this were hockey, this could have been a fight. This could have been, both could have been served 5-minute majors for fighting. I wouldn't give an instigator here. I would have tossed both their asses out. And I would have sent it to the league to review like they did in the NBA. But NHL, they judge intent. They both would have just got 1 game. But I feel like because it's the NBA and because it was LeBron, he technically should have gotten 3. But because it was LeBron, he only got 1. But Isaiah Stewart, being a clown and over being melodramatic, got himself a 2nd game because all that extra stuff was unnecessary. It's one thing when the initial event happens and you confront it. It's another thing to start running over people, pushing off women. There was a female coach there that, you know, I was scared for her because she was trying to calm him down. I'm like, she was calmer than him. Anyway, but what are your folks' thoughts on that as far as, and if you're watching this archived, you can leave your comments down below. But that was a clown-ass situation. That's clown-ass behavior. Let me see. C-A-B. Cab. Take a cab. Isaiah Stewart. Clown-ass behavior. I wonder, did the Lakers win last night? Who knows? Alright, so now that we got that out the way, let's talk about it. So, I didn't want to do much of sports, so I got that out the way. Let's talk about these verdicts that just dropped. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It just so happens that we got these verdicts just before Thanksgiving dropped. So, first, let's go to Rittenhouse. Y'all not gonna like what I have to say. This is the moment, like, when I talk about stuff like this, I close my heart and open my mind. Because obviously, when the whole situation in Wisconsin happened, I was pissed off. You know, how is this man carrying an AR at 17? He's a minor. Carrying an AR, whatever. Because remember, AR could mean assault rifle, and there's various ranges of assault rifle. What type of assault rifle was it? But anyway, I'm like, if I were playing Battlefield, which the prosecutor deserves to be on that segment I just introduced with clown ass behavior, because he tried it with the video game blaming. He tried it, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But in Battlefield, I like the M416, which is not in the current Battlefield right now, unless you play Portal, and the Scar H, which is in 2042, but you got to be level 27 because it comes attached with a grenade launcher. I think that's clown ass. That's clown ass shit right there. How a game not going to give you a Scar H or Scar L, not going to give you an M416 now I'm ranting. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Rittenhouse. But yeah, the prosecutor tried it. He failed. So, and I was angry that this dude shot 3 people, killed 2 of them, and it was all on video. It was shocking. I'm like, it pulled at my heartstrings, but my mind was like, he's being chased by people. He's the one carrying a weapon. If he was really a threat, he would have just sprayed everybody. Oh my God. One of my teammates just sent the text, and I got my phone hooked up on the computer screen. Actually, no, I have the little link with Windows and my cell phone. And one of my teammates, he loves Brussels sprouts, and we've clowned him at every second. This man is like, the night before prep, anyone else having Brussels? Hell the fuck no. Not having Brussels sprouts. We told you about this. Don't condone clown ass behavior when it comes to Brussels sprouts. Ain't nobody prepping with Brussels sprouts. If you're prepping with Brussels sprouts, I don't know what to say to you. Or anyone else that could be, of the Brussels sprouts variety. But anyway. Who chases down a person who's carrying an assault rifle? I'm not chasing anybody down. I don't care what they did. They got an assault rifle. They can mow me and 20 other people down in a few seconds. I'm staying my ass in the house. I'm minding my business. I'll be like, hey, call the police. Let them handle it. Because apparently when you call the police, and in that situation, they just go right past because 911 is a joke. But we got more. This trial produced more footage, and again, I had to close my heart and open my mind to understand that this verdict was the correct verdict. It was going to be that way, and it wasn't for the obvious reasons, because I'm like, we could talk about white supremacy. We can talk about, oh, this is racially aggravating. Has hints of systemic racial injustice. But how is that in play here unless it's like in left field? Because other than that, I'm like, he was judged by a jury of his peers, which are all white people. I'm like, he's in Wisconsin, it's mostly white people. I don't know why anyone was mad that there was no black people in the jurors as one of the jurors, because tell you the truth, I'm like, there's other people out there that are saying that, hey, if this was a black man and this would have happened, well, first of all, this is where it would have been different. It wouldn't have been no trial. He would have been shot dead live on video. We've seen that happen before. Even if they, and we don't even have to carry a gun. The thought that we may be reaching for it is enough to kill us on camera. So that's how that would have been different. But since we got to trial in this case, and then when we seen that other footage, it clearly was self-defense. We seen the earlier footage, it actually made more sense. That was self-defense. And it actually led me to more questions. Because the one of the people that got shot, he sat there and said, he testified, yeah, I pointed a gun at him. But there was on the footage, there was another person that had a gun, shot it up in the air. You know what happened after he shot the gun in the air? Rittenhouse turned, as he was being chased by the first person he shot and killed. He heard the gunshot with his back turned to everybody because he's running away from the guy who was out as like a madman. And you hear a gunshot, your back turn, as you're running away, You turn, you see a dude lunging at you. I don't know about you, but Rittenhouse did exactly what a lot of us would have done. Pulled the trigger 4 times. I mean, I got to look at it from his point of view. I can't look at it from my own point of view. I'm playing armchair quarterback just by looking at the situation. But, you know, if I'm right there, I'm pulling the trigger too. So I'm trying to figure out what are the charges for the guy who shot the gun in the air. Because it was that dude's gunshot that made Rittenhouse think, oh, my life is in danger. It wasn't just because, remember, he was running before he turned to shoot. And then the second part, which is the one that we all saw, is the one that pulled at everybody's heartstrings. But at the same time, who's yelling, get him? And inciting and like encouraging people to go after the person with the gun. It's not like they're holding a pistol, holding an assault rifle that full auto could mow down 30 people in 2 seconds or more. More people in less seconds. I don't know about you. I would find out who said that. I ain't hear nobody talk about call the police until after 2 more people got shot and 1 died. I think the dude that died, he swung a skateboard and hit him. So he was being attacked. Now, what folks were trying to say, in which I could see a situation where he definitely probably was aggravating the situation, because it was already volatile as far as there was a protest over a shooting of a black man by a police officer who thought he was reaching for his gun, shot the dude pretty much in the back. So I'm like, tensions were already high. And I maintain throughout everything that's going on everything that went on in the trial and everything that went on as watching this video, that Rittenhouse should not have been there in the first place. So again, I believe the verdict was correct. I have no regrets in saying it, because I'm my own person that could clearly see that the first guy got fucked up because somebody else shot a gun in the air, and that makes that you talk about escalates a situation when you're the one trying to escape. Yeah, I turn around, there's a madman launching at me, I'm shooting him if I had a gun. I'm like, at that point, it's like the same thing. If I hear people yell, get him, I turn around and somebody's launching at me, even if I don't have a weapon, I'm swinging. Rights, lefts, a knee, a kick. If I happen to grab them, I'm squeezing the life out of them. I'm still trying to figure out why everybody's chasing the dude down with an assault rifle in his hand. That's crazy. That's not heroic. That's stupid. Call the police and let them handle that. They got guns. Y'all didn't. Y'all had a skateboard. Oh, not my fault. Y'all had 2 guns. Pointed. One got the one dude killed, and then the other got that dude's bicep blown off. Clearly, the second time, on the second part of the video, he was clearly defending himself. So people can be mad all they want as far as that verdict, but that was the correct verdict. I didn't see any. I really didn't see, in this instance, in this trial, in this situation, any racial inequality whatsoever. This was a jury of everybody of his equal. There would obviously, he's 18 now. Oh, and then there were a couple of narratives that were squashed. The whole driving over state lines, he did, but the gun was already in Wisconsin. Some people, I think another one was that his mother dropped him off. I wanted to believe that one too. There was a lot of these narratives I wanted to believe, but it was firmly squashed by listening to the evidence. So, once you hear truths, once you hear facts, you can't argue against them. And CNN, it had to eat pie. Crow, my fault. That's an L. Had to eat crow and get pie in the face. There's the makeup for that. Because I could tell that the lady that was reporting from CNN, when she was reporting on the trial, she hated having to repeat the fact that, oh no, what we previously reported was incorrect. And had to do it over and over and over again. It's nauseating. But that's what happens when y'all tune into the mainstream media. And when it comes to CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CNBC, Cash Money Brothers Incorporated. But that's what happens. So, and again, I maintain that he should never have been there in the first place. But since he was there, he was clearly defending himself. I think we may have, and then even so, after he shot the first person, then he actually stuck around and tried to render aid. And some, I think he was calling back to his people or he was calling somebody. But the fact that he showed concern for what just happened, because I could tell he. And then there was new footage I didn't see. When he turned himself in, he broke down seriously. In the interrogation room. See, when he broke down on the stand, he made some actions that made it look so fake. I believe what he did on the stand was fake. But what happened fresh off of it was more real, more authentic. That this dude was afraid for his life and was in total shock when a lot of this happened. A lot of times when you're in a stressful situation, adrenaline kicks in and you have fight or flight going on. And you pretty much are going to be in a state of shock until everything calms down. And I can tell you, this dude was in pure shock, but the adrenaline kept him going. And then when it went away, his feelings came back, his heart opened up, and he realized he just killed 2 people. When he cried in the interrogation room, that was a cry like, oh my God, I don't know what I've done. He had one of those Anakin Skywalker moments after he betrayed Mace Windu with Emperor Palpatine right there. Oh my God, what have I done? Like, he said it like that on the stand, but he lived it in the interrogation room after it just had happened. So, again, if you guys have any thoughts, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching archive about the Rittenhouse verdict, comment below, and we're gonna move on because this other verdict just dropped earlier today. I just happened to just tune in to CNN. Yes, even though mainstream media is still cruddy, I still watch because a lot of times I watch to disseminate information and judge for myself. I'm like, CNN has a slant, Fox has a slant, all these outlets have a slant. But Ahmaud Arbery case wrapped up and the verdict was read today. All 3 of them were guilty. Obviously the third guy, the Chase View driver, the chaser was not brought up, but he was convicted on lesser, like the person that killed Arbery is the one that caught all hell. I think the most serious one was malicious. It was malice murder. I don't remember the exact terminology for it, but that was the most serious one because it described that they described that charge as, for a short moment, you got so angry and you got so that you wanted to kill at that very moment. And then also there was another thing that told on it. But yeah, the son, the father's son, the son got all the charges. The father didn't get the first one, but he got the rest of them. And the guy who was chasing behind, who originally we thought was a bystander, turns out he was... Oh God, somebody equated it to modern day lynching. And you see somebody being chased down and then just being shot and then left laying there. All three of them left the scene. So the driver, the guy who was chasing behind, recording everything, I think there were 3 charges. He was found not guilty, and the rest he was found guilty. So what does that mean? It means that they ass is Bubba's for the next 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They I because of who they are, they're probably not going to spend that time, but apparently they can all get life for all the charges that they got. Even the driver, even the guy who was just tagging along at the end, he all of them could get up to life. They're not going to get life. If they get life, then that will be a victory in itself, because I don't think, I have not, and tell me if I'm wrong, or tell me about your guys' experience and information you guys have come across. I have yet to see a white guy get life for killing a black person in a reckless and a hate-filled way. One piece of evidence that popped out, obviously there was footage with this one as well, that clearly could see that this kid was this person, Arbery, was running away. He's being chased. But what snitched on the 3 was that the 911 call, apparently the guy was like, oh, I seen a black guy running. I seen a black guy running. So 3 of y'all decide, it was like, Jasper, Brutus, load up the truck to see a black man running. That's what got you out there to chase this man and then kill him? And then leave him laying there? Yeah. They should have gave y'all the death penalty. Because it's not even the point of, okay, they try to defend themselves with self-defense, but it's the point that you left them there. You didn't call the police, and that was another thing. I remember initially they said they had the police in their back pocket. The person that was one of the district attorneys didn't even prosecute this case originally. Because remember, there was a delay. When it happened, it got covered up initially. So there's all sorts of shenanigans what's going on with that case. But I think everyone's happy that got decided the way it decided. And I agree with that verdict as well, because all hell was going to break loose if that verdict went the other way. I know some people, there are going to be like a few select people that are going to be mad because not all 3 got charged with everything. It's not how the system works. The person clearly videotaping and watching it is not going to be brought. It's not going to be found guilty on malicious malice murder or whatever they call that first most serious charge. The father, they're not going to charge him with that either. But the rest of them, yeah, they all caught them charges. So we'll see what happens. See how it falls out. Hopefully no shenanigans happen, because I'm sure they're going to appeal, but we'll see. I should switch over to AEW. I'm sitting there watching Florida State. I don't know if they're murdering Boston U or Boston U is just... I can't even tell, because Florida State's little display, you can't even see the score. You see the goal, but the font's in white. And gold and white, especially a peach color gold or whatever with white font on a TV screen, doesn't work. So let me see what's on AEW. The Nets play the Celtics tonight. See what's going on. There's a bunch of college basketball games going on. The Caps are playing the Canadians. We're checking on that score. They're in a commercial, so. Now I'm doing this old school because I don't want to. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're winning. Caps are winning 4-1 from what it looks like. It was 2-0 when I last checked into the game, but they're at 4-1. They're beating the Montreal Canadiens. You always depend on the Caps to have a good season, unlike the Washington football team. But we did win. We did beat Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. It was nice. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm back. Really, that was my contribution to that quote, because there was several former Carolina Panthers current football team players that was saying the same thing, including the kicker. I'm saying it because I'm back streaming on Wednesdays. I'm still gonna do every 2 weeks, so episode 40 will be in 2 weeks later, and then the holiday break. Speaking of which, let me just, because we're gonna move away from the Arbery case again. If you have any thoughts on this case and the verdict, whether you agree or disagree, comment below, and if you're live, just say your piece. But again, I've talked about this a couple of times in past streams, but talked about continuing the show. And I think I had made a decision that I was going to continue with the episodes. I think I am going to go back to weekly. Since the first initial move was coming back on Wednesdays. This move wasn't just because Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I actually have to work on Black Friday. That's gonna be hell. But I've worked on a Black Friday before. Even though I would usually not work on Black Fridays, I would never go out on Black Fridays because it's hell. I think the last time I went to a Black Friday event was Best Buy, and I went out and I got a router, one of the antenna routers. That's when, back in the day, when no one had their own internal routers on their computer, or you had to get an external one with the antennas. I got one of those, and I think I got something else. I was in and out of there in less than an hour. But I was in there for a while because that line was long. And then you see the videos. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to check out the videos that pop up online. I want to see people fight. I'm like, shoot, we've seen enough people it is not even post-pandemic. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. When the crowds start arriving back to the stadiums, NFL stadiums, NBA, NHL, not so much NHL. I don't know, but seen people misbehave badly. I think there was another case. Oh, speaking of which, yes, this just happened. Roll credits, I know. Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins was attacked by a fan, which if you saw like any fan footage or whatever, you pretty much could see the dude jump over the rail in the background as they were filming Seth Rollins. And then he tackles Seth Rollins. He goes for the spear, and Rollins must have been playing No Mercy, WCW versus NWO Revenge. Because what is the obvious counter to a spear? A chokehold. You take the spear, but you wrap your arm around their neck and squeeze. And if you want to cinch it in, you wrap your legs around their waist. And you can do actually both. You can squeeze the neck, and you can also squeeze their obliques. So their airflow is just cut off. They, have them looking like one of those hot dog balloons that you blow air into, and then you twist it up. So you see all this air in the middle, but nothing going out and nothing coming in. So Seth Rollins, shout out to you. But I know somebody, if they really wanted to press it in your adrenaline, you call a black man a boy. I'm not saying nothing against it, because it was a heat of the moment, and I'm around teammates that they say attaboy a whole lot. It's just a sports thing. In the heat of the moment, you're in a fight, you'll say whatever. As long as you don't say the N-word, I don't care. But so, and the dude wound up getting locked up. He actually was released this crazy ass video. He literally pulled a Rikishi. He was like, I did it for The Rock. I did it for Rikishi. I did it for the bloodline. I'm like, really? If it didn't work for Rikishi, what makes you think it's gonna work for you, dude? Damn. People are just idiots. Well, I digress. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else going on tonight. Oh, I know I think the Wizards are playing tonight. Oh yeah, I'll check on that score later. But I'll probably get off here in a few moments. Like I said, just wanted to chat with you guys about these two verdicts. What the heck just happened? You know what's funny? When you're watching a hockey game and you listen to it, not watching, if you just have it playing in the background, you'll hear noises that will make you think something just happened, because the way the crowd reacts in a hockey game. Oh, it hit off the post. That's what happened. That makes a lot of sense, because that crowd was like, oh shit, I'm glad that didn't go in. Somebody getting called for a penalty, or are they trying to see if it went in? It's interesting. Okay, last but not least, I alluded to it earlier. Let's talk about Battlefield 2042. Let me get some video games in here. Battlefield 2042. First of all, I like the game. I like being in modern warfare all over again with Battlefield. I say this to say because I have my personal enjoyment of the game, but the facts are the facts. This game came out in a poor state. It seemed like being a veteran, and VF, if you're still watching, you know this. We went through Battlefield 4 when it released on next gen. Servers crashing, whole bunch of issues. I'm like, unfortunately, there were no I think the fortunate thing, there wasn't any issues with the amount of guns in the game. They were under a different system as far as how they did season passes. You actually had to pay for these, and these are like huge updates. Like Battlefield 4, I think by the end of the day was just as large as Call of Duty Warzone. after its updates. But we made it through Battlefield. And I mean Battlefield 4. And it turned out to be a classic. Like, Battlefield 4 is still considered a classic to this day. Battlefield 3 gets honorable mentions. To me, personally, Battlefield Bad Company 2 was my entry point into the Battlefield series. But Battlefield 4 was a classic. And then you had Battlefield 1, which had an awesome campaign, series of stories, or whatever you want to call it. And then, even though there are going to be people that are going to disagree with this, I really didn't like Battlefield 5. I really did not like Battlefield 5. I'm like, it was fun in moments, but it didn't keep me playing as much as I thought it was going to. Even with all the destruction, the guns were underwhelming. Not by sheer number, but just by impact. I'm like, when I shoot a gun virtually, I want to feel the impact, and I'm glad that I have a PS5, so I can, all the guns that I'm shooting with, I can feel the impact. Now with Battlefield 2042, the guns are an issue, and I don't have a problem with this, but I understand that the majority of people do have a problem with this, and that is bloom. Now, to be quite honest, I wasn't sure what that meant, but I took the context in the fact that people were just mad because they were missing shots. And then when I looked it up and researched it a little bit more so I can understand it better and understand its purpose for it being in the game, my initial thought was, we have a whole bunch of people that like to spam the shoot button, hold it down, and they wonder why they miss. You know, in real life, when you shoot a gun, if you're not controlling it, if you're just shooting to shoot, the bullet's gonna, your aim, see, the bullet shouldn't curve or whatever. I get it, but that gun is gonna go everywhere. I'm like, you talk about bullet spread. Actually, what you see happen in the game is made worse in real life. Like, you're more likely to have bullet spread in real life if you're not able to control the gun. But the issue is pretty much that even when you slow down, pace your shots, switch to single shot on the multi-firing modes, it still makes for, especially when you're aiming down the sights. I think it's more likely when you're aiming down the sights. It's kind of inexcusable when you're aiming down the sights, because the reticle that's in the game, when it's spread apart, it means that the bullet can go anywhere within that range. If you imagine a circle, if you have that like T-shaped reticle, then it'll be anywhere between that. And then if you wait a second, it'll shrink down, so the spread will be less. So hopefully they take care of that, and the other barrage of issues that are in the game. Hopefully they put back in some missing features, like being able to browse different servers. A lot of people are angry over there's no team deathmatch until you play the portal. There's a lot of farming going on in the portal. I think one thing they should not have done and allowed to happen was having XP against bots when you switch over. Like, if you go in and you want to do all-out war or breakthrough, you can level up against the bots and then go on to multiplayer. Like, you can switch to single player or co-op, and you'll take the time to unlock, and I think it's slower against the bots, but still being able to upgrade. I think that's stupid. I think what should have happened, because right now there's no practice arena. If you want to use the bots as practice, it's actually better practice, because you're going up against moving targets and you can adjust the different level that the bots are. Just like Modern Warfare was doing that before Battlefield did it. But Battlefield finally introduced bots. You can have beginner, moderate, or intermediate, or advanced bots when you're playing. They should unlock everything. So if you really want to practice, you want to use solo and co-op for practice, they should have everything unlocked, but you should not gain any XP at all. Because the whole point of gaining XP is to do it against other players. I understand that Battlefield wants to add in bots to the multiplayer servers as well, just to keep servers full. But if someone is basically, it's basically farming in solo co-op. You don't even have to go on a portal. Hell, I've done it. I feel like because the CPU is not going to cheat you, like, players actually find exploits, players camp. You know, I do see a lot of human behavior in the AI, but they don't camp. They kind of move strategically. They're fired upon. They know who's firing at them, and they'll try to take pot shots. I've seen them flank. Seen the AI do a whole bunch of things, and I have it cranked up all the way to advanced. So not that means much. At the end of the day, they're bots. They're people who just mop up bots all day, because they pretty much, it's like playing a campaign without playing a campaign. That's the way I see it. But hopefully DICE will fix 90% of those issues and fix them quick. And then also give us a roadmap. Are they planning on adding more guns? Not that that's an issue with me, but I really was miffed I didn't see the 416, even though the starting gun assault rifle is similar to the 416. But I wanted the 416. The Scar H, somebody said it was a Scar L because it was like 5.56 millimeter rounds. But I think it says, if I remember the description correctly, for that SFAR, wherever the hell that pronunciation is, Safar, that is basically a SCAR for grenade launcher made standard. That's basically what it is. But it says it takes 7.62 millimeter rounds, so that's the Scar H. So they have the Scar H. Hopefully I can remove that grenade launcher, because honestly I don't use grenade launchers in games. I have my grenades that I throw. You know, I know there was a debate about grenades. I know Halo Infinite and their multiplayer just came out, and people have a problem with the meta in that game where people just launch grenades at everybody and you're breaking down shields, which I don't know why people have a problem with that. I'm like, it's basically Spartans versus Spartans, or if you have one of those aliens that has a shield, it's a futuristic shooter. How in the hell you setting rules on a futuristic shooter? Like, way in the future. Like, we will never see this existence. We don't even know if we're gonna have personal shields in real life. Don't know if we're gonna have plasma grenades. We already have a railgun. So what we thought wasn't going to happen, military-wise, has already been test fired. We have a working railgun that we can use on people right now. So, all right, I'm about to wrap it up. Battlefield 2042 is definitely setting people the wrong way, so they need to right the ship. People are gonna stop playing. Everyone's gonna be playing bots in the multiplayer side. You know, EA didn't want that. They don't want that. So, all right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. And again, for the last section, I'm also trying to see if this automatic chapter thing works the way it's supposed to be intended. But if you had any thoughts about Battlefield 2042 or any of the other topics I've talked about tonight, if you're watching this, live, obviously you would have said something by now. But if you're watching this archive and a replay, then comment below. Tell me, tell me what's up. Definitely interested to see what people have to say. But anyway, I'm gonna leave out on that note. Thank VF for stopping by, just dropping by, saying happy Thanksgiving. Wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure whatever you eat is a home cooked meal. Make sure that it's full of flavor. Don't be putting some bland shit in your food. And somebody tells you to bring ice, I can't talk because I haven't had anybody say that to me. But I'm transparent about the fact that I'm not a cooker. I'm not the cook, not a chef. I'll bake the hell out of fish and turn it into whatever I want. But I am not a cook. But yeah, if you been told to bring ice, your ass can't cook. But everybody stay safe, and especially if you're out there playing a turkey bowl. I have not played in a turkey bowl, and my body is not in condition to play on Thanksgiving anymore. Even though I can play during the spring and summer, spring and fall in my rec league, which we won a championship this past fall. I don't know if I mentioned that in a previous episode, but we won the damn thing, and I'm a 2-time champ along with my teammates. So it's nice to be once again. It's been forever since I've been a 2-time champ in anything. Last time I won back-to-back titles. Well, actually no, this wasn't a back-to-back situation, but last time I was a 2-time champ was in baseball with the Little League team, Columbia Angels. We went back-to-back. We went undefeated the next year. And I'm like, if you want to include the victories towards the end of the season, because we won we had like 40 games in a row that we won. It's unbelievable. But anyway, again, hopefully you guys are being safe. Hopefully you guys are inside watching these sports, watching the football. I think there's college football on the night, or maybe a replay. College basketball, pro ball, pro hockey, AEW. I'm about to tune in once I get off here. And again, you can find me on Twitter, DJ81. You can check out my articles. I write every now and then. I don't have a regular schedule. It's whenever I feel like it. At dj81.org. Other than that, if you want to play Battlefield 2042, and I know I had one request, and I wish I would have taken his request, but I know Sim F Ball was looking for people. But if you want to find me on PSN, my username is LuckyManus81. Don't ask me why I have that name or how did I get that name. I'll just answer it. It was by default. I didn't choose the name and have not bothered to change it. It just stuck with me. And then at the same time during the game, they'll just call me Lucky. It works. Anyway, I hope some of you are getting lucky. And you're stuffing more than just turkey. I don't know. Some of you may describe your girlfriends. Some of you girls may be describing your boyfriends as turkeys. But whoever's getting stuffed, whatever. Anyway, you guys take care. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And I will holler at you guys in 2 weeks for episode 40. Damn, I'm catching up with my age. Alright then. Y'all take care. Peace.